Welcome to Certification Terminal. As part of this series, we will discuss a couple of CompTIA Security Plus certification exam questions and answers. A program attempts to store more data in a designated memory space than it can hold, causing it to overwrite data in unintended locations. This situation is known as Option A, integer overflow. Option B, buffer overflow. Option C, memory leak. Option D, DLL injection. The correct answer is Option B, buffer overflow. Buffer overflow occurs when a program writes data beyond the boundaries of a buffer it has been allocated, leading to the overwriting of adjacent memory locations. This can result in corrupting data, altering program behavior, or even causing a crash. Option A, integer overflow, is incorrect. Integer overflow happens when an arithmetic operation results in a value that exceeds the maximum representable value for the data type. For example, adding 1 to the maximum value of a signed integer would cause an overflow. While integer overflow can lead to unexpected behavior, it doesn't directly involve writing data into memory spaces as described in the scenario. Option C, memory leak, is incorrect. A memory leak occurs when a program fails to release memory it has allocated but no longer needs. Over time, this can lead to the depletion of available memory. Unlike buffer overflow, memory leaks don't involve writing data beyond the bounds of a specific memory space. Option D, DLL injection, is incorrect. Dynamic link library injection is a technique used to inject code into a running process by forcing it to load a malicious DLL. This technique is commonly used in software exploitation, but doesn't directly involve overwriting data in unintended memory locations as described in the scenario. Next question. In a Linux environment, Bob belongs to the leaders group. He tries to open secret_file.txt, but the permissions for others are restricted. What level of access can Bob expect? Option A, Bob can read and execute the file. Option B, Bob can read, write, and execute the file. Option C, Bob can only read the file. Option D, Bob can read and write the file. The correct answer is Option C, Bob can only read the file. In a Linux environment, file permissions are divided into 3 categories: owner, group, and others. Given that Bob belongs to the leaders group, the permissions for others are restricted. Given that the permissions for others are restricted, Bob would have read permission, as it's the only permission granted to users who are not the owner or in the owning group. Option A, Bob can read and execute the file, is incorrect. If Bob belonged to the same group that owns the file, he would inherit the group permissions. However, since he belongs to the leaders group and not the group that owns the file, he won't inherit group permissions. Additionally, the question specifies that the permissions for others are restricted, so Bob, being neither the owner nor in the group that owns the file, would have no execution permission. Option B, Bob can read, write, and execute the file, is incorrect. Since the permissions for others are restricted, Bob wouldn't have write or execute permissions on the file. Therefore, this option is incorrect. Option D, Bob can read and write the file, is incorrect. Similar to Option B, since the permissions for others are restricted, Bob wouldn't have write permission on the file. Therefore, this option is incorrect. Next question. What type of testing should a user undertake to assess whether a web application can handle unexpected or random inputs without crashing? Option A, fuzzing. Option B, dynamic code analysis. Option C, manual code review. Option D, code signing. The correct answer is Option A, fuzzing. Fuzzing is a testing technique where automated tools input invalid, unexpected, or random data into a system to discover vulnerabilities, crashes, or unexpected behavior. In the context of the question, fuzzing is the most appropriate choice because it specifically targets the assessment of a web application's ability to handle unexpected or random inputs without crashing. Fuzzing aims to stress test the application by bombarding it with various inputs to identify potential weaknesses in its input handling mechanisms. Option B, dynamic code analysis, is incorrect. Dynamic code analysis involves analyzing a program's behavior while it's running. While dynamic code analysis can help identify issues, such as memory leaks or performance bottlenecks, it may not specifically target the assessment of the application's ability to handle unexpected or random inputs without crashing. Option C, manual code review, is incorrect. Manual code review involves human reviewers inspecting source code to identify issues such as logic errors, security vulnerabilities, or coding best practices. While manual code review is essential for ensuring code quality and security, it's not specifically designed to assess how well a web application handles unexpected or random inputs during runtime. Option D, code signing, is incorrect. Code signing is a security measure that involves digitally signing software to verify its authenticity and integrity. It's used to confirm that the code has not been altered or tampered with since it was signed. While code signing is important for ensuring the authenticity of software, it does not directly assess how well a web application handles unexpected or random inputs without crashing. Next question. In the face of a significant risk of ransomware attacks, targeting network storage systems, which technical control would offer the most effective mitigation strategy? Option A, regularly backup data to encrypted offline storage. Option B, deploy security information and event management for centralized logging and analysis. Option C, implement multi-factor authentication for all network access. Option D, install antivirus software on all endpoints and servers. The correct answer is Option A, regularly backup data to encrypted offline storage. Regular backups to encrypted offline storage provide an effective mitigation strategy against ransomware attacks. If the network storage systems are compromised, having recent backups stored offline ensures that critical data can be restored without paying the ransom. Encrypting the backups adds an extra layer of security, preventing unauthorized access to the backed up data. This approach adheres to the best practice of maintaining backups as part of a comprehensive data protection strategy. Option B is incorrect. While CM solutions are valuable for detecting and responding to security incidents, they are not specifically tailored to mitigate ransomware attacks on network storage systems. CM systems primarily focus on monitoring and analyzing security events across the IT infrastructure, which can aid in identifying unusual activities associated with ransomware attacks. However, they do not directly prevent or mitigate the impact of such attacks. Option C is incorrect. Multi-factor authentication enhances security by requiring additional verification beyond passwords. While multi-factor authentication can help prevent unauthorized access to network resources, it does not directly address the risk of ransomware attacks targeting network storage systems. Ransomware typically exploits vulnerabilities in systems or relies on social engineering tactics rather than bypassing authentication mechanisms. Option D is incorrect. Antivirus software is essential for detecting and removing malware, including ransomware, from endpoints and servers. However, it is not sufficient as a standalone mitigation strategy against ransomware attacks targeting network storage systems. Ransomware can still infiltrate and encrypt data on network storage, even if antivirus software is installed on endpoints and servers. Next question. What is the name of the attack when an attacker modifies a segment of data used in a stream cipher to expose wirelessly encrypted data after breaching your wireless network? Option A, rogue WAP. Option B, evil twin. Option C, WPS attack. Option D, IV attack. The correct answer is Option D, IV attack. An initialization vector attack occurs when an attacker modifies a segment of data used in a stream cipher to expose wirelessly encrypted data. By manipulating the initialization vector, the attacker can potentially decrypt parts of the encrypted data. This type of attack is specific to cryptographic systems, particularly those that use stream ciphers like RC4. Option A, rogue WAP, is incorrect. A rogue wireless access point is an unauthorized wireless access point that an attacker sets up to mimic a legitimate access point, tricking users into connecting to it. While rogue WAPs can be used as part of a wireless attack, they are not specifically related to the manipulation of data in a stream cipher. Option B, evil twin, is incorrect. An evil twin attack involves an attacker setting up a fake wireless network with a similar name to a legitimate network, tricking users into connecting to it. Similar to rogue WAPs, evil twin attacks are not directly related to modifying data in a stream cipher. Option C, WPS attack, is incorrect. A WPS, Wi-Fi protected setup, attack exploits vulnerabilities in the WPS protocol to gain unauthorized access to a wireless network. While WPS attacks can lead to unauthorized access to the network, they do not involve modifying data in a stream cipher. Next question. What is the primary goal of encryption standards? Option A, specify access control mechanisms. Option B, define onboarding processes. Option C, detail password reset procedures. Option D, outline acceptable encryption algorithms and key management practices. The correct answer is Option D, outline acceptable encryption algorithms and key management practices. The primary goal of encryption standards is to specify acceptable encryption algorithms and key management practices to ensure the confidentiality, integrity, and authenticity of data. Encryption standards provide guidelines and requirements for implementing encryption to protect sensitive information from unauthorized access or disclosure. They define which encryption algorithms and key management practices are considered secure and suitable for use in various applications and environments. Option A, specify access control mechanisms, is incorrect. Access control mechanisms regulate who can access resources in a system and under what conditions. While access control is crucial for security, it is not the primary goal of encryption standards. Encryption standards primarily focus on securing data by specifying encryption algorithms and key management practices rather than access control mechanisms. Option B, define onboarding processes, is incorrect. Onboarding processes refer to procedures for integrating new employees or devices into an organization's systems or networks. While onboarding processes may involve security measures, they are not the primary focus of encryption standards. Encryption standards primarily deal with data protection through encryption algorithms and key management. Option C, detail password reset procedures, is incorrect. Password reset procedures involve steps for users to reset their passwords in case they forget them or suspect unauthorized access to their accounts. While password security is related to encryption standards, password reset procedures are not the main goal of encryption standards. Encryption standards focus on specifying encryption algorithms and key management practices to protect data. Next question. What is the common result of a risk assessment process? Option A, conducting regular security training for employees. Option B, development of a disaster recovery plan. Option C, implementation of new cybersecurity policies. Option D, identification and prioritization of risks. The correct answer is Option D, identification and prioritization of risks. The common result of a risk assessment process is the identification and prioritization of risks within an organization's environment. This involves identifying potential threats, vulnerabilities, and their potential impacts on business operations or objectives. Prioritizing risks allows organizations to focus their resources on addressing the most critical threats and vulnerabilities first, thereby improving their overall risk posture. Option A, conducting regular security training for employees, is incorrect. While conducting regular security training for employees is an essential aspect of a comprehensive cybersecurity strategy, it is not the common result of a risk assessment process. The primary purpose of a risk assessment is to identify and prioritize risks within an organization's environment. Training may be a recommendation that arises from the risk assessment process to mitigate identified risks, but it is not the direct result of the assessment itself. Option B, development of a disaster recovery plan, is incorrect. Developing a disaster recovery plan is crucial for ensuring business continuity in the event of a major disruption or disaster. However, like security training, it is not the common result of a risk assessment process. A risk assessment primarily focuses on identifying and evaluating potential risks to an organization's assets, operations, and objectives. While the results of a risk assessment may inform the development or refinement of a disaster recovery plan, it is not the direct outcome of the assessment. Option C. Implementation of new cybersecurity policies is incorrect. Implementing new cybersecurity policies may be a recommendation resulting from a risk assessment, especially if the assessment identifies gaps or weaknesses in existing policies. However, it is not the common result of a risk assessment process. The primary outcome of a risk assessment is the identification and prioritization of risks, which may then inform decisions about policy updates or enhancements. Next question. What is the main objective of user training within an organization's IT ecosystem for managing personnel? Option A. Building stakeholder confidence and addressing non-compliance. Option B. Ensuring a well-informed workforce through tailored training. Option C. Validating compliance with specific laws and regulations. Option D. Preventing unauthorized data sharing with data loss prevention policies. The correct answer is Option B. Ensuring a well-informed workforce through tailored training. The main objective of user training within an organization's IT ecosystem for managing personnel is to ensure a well-informed workforce through tailored training. This involves providing employees with the knowledge, skills, and resources they need to effectively use IT systems and applications, understand security risks, and follow best practices for data protection. Tailored training programs can address specific job roles, responsibilities, and technology requirements, thereby enhancing overall organizational productivity and security. Option A is incorrect. While building stakeholder confidence and addressing non-compliance are important goals for an organization, they are not the main objectives of user training within the IT ecosystem for managing personnel. User training primarily focuses on equipping employees with the knowledge and skills necessary to effectively and securely use IT resources and systems. Option C is incorrect. Validating compliance with specific laws and regulations is an essential aspect of organizational operations, but it is not the primary objective of user training within the IT ecosystem for managing personnel. User training may include information about compliance requirements, but its main focus is on educating employees about best practices, security protocols, and proper use of IT resources. Option D is incorrect. Preventing unauthorized data sharing with data loss prevention policies is an important security measure, but it is not the main objective of user training within the IT ecosystem for managing personnel. While user training may cover DLP policies and procedures, its primary goal is to ensure that employees are well informed about security practices, data handling procedures, and the proper use of IT resources. Next question. Among the choices provided, what is the primary motivation for an attack carried out by a criminal organization? Option A, grudge. Option B, financial. Option C, political. Option D, thrill. The correct answer is Option B, financial. Financial gain is the primary motivation for attacks carried out by criminal organizations. These organizations often target individuals, businesses, or government entities with the goal of extorting money, stealing valuable data, or engaging in fraudulent activities. Financially motivated attacks can take various forms, including ransomware, phishing scams, data breaches, and financial fraud schemes. Maximizing profits and minimizing risks are key drivers for criminal organizations, making financial gain the most likely primary motivation for their attacks. Option A, grudge, is incorrect. While personal vendettas or grudges can motivate individuals to carry out attacks, they are less likely to be the primary motivation for an attack orchestrated by a criminal organization. Criminal organizations typically prioritize financial gain over personal grievances when planning and executing attacks. Option C, political, is incorrect. Political motives may drive attacks carried out by certain groups or individuals, but they are less common among criminal organizations whose primary goal is often financial profit. Political motivations are more commonly associated with hacktivist groups or state-sponsored cyber attacks. Option D, thrill, is incorrect. While thrill-seeking behavior may motivate some individuals to engage in cyber attacks, it is not typically the primary motivation for attacks carried out by criminal organizations. Criminal organizations are generally more interested in generating financial gain through activities such as extortion, theft, or fraud. Next question. When Bob modifies the rules on his organization's firewall to accommodate a new mail server installation, which type of control is he employing? Option A, compensating. Option B, technical. Option C, operational. Option D, managerial. The correct answer is Option B, technical. Bob is employing technical controls when he modifies the rules on his organization's firewall to accommodate a new mail server installation. Technical controls are security measures that are implemented directly within IT systems to manage access, protect data, and enforce security policies. Modifying firewall rules is a technical task that involves configuring access control lists, port forwarding, or other firewall settings to allow traffic to and from the new mail server while maintaining network security. Option A, compensating, is incorrect. Compensating controls are implemented to mitigate risks that cannot be fully addressed by primary controls. These controls are typically put in place as alternatives or supplements to primary controls. However, modifying firewall rules to accommodate a new mail server installation is a primary control aimed at directly managing and controlling access to network resources. Option C, operational, is incorrect. Operational controls are policies, procedures, and practices that govern the day-to-day operations of an organization's systems and processes. While configuring firewall rules to accommodate a new mail server installation involves operational activities, it primarily falls under technical controls, which directly involve the configuration and management of IT systems. Option D, managerial, is incorrect. Managerial controls involve strategic decisions, policies, and oversight that guide an organization's approach to managing risks and ensuring compliance. Modifying firewall rules to accommodate a new mail server installation is not a managerial control. It is a technical task that falls within the realm of IT operations. Next question. When an individual application undergoes an update or modification, what action should be taken to guarantee the changes are incorporated? Option A, downtime. Option B, service restart. Option C, restricted activities. Option D, application restart. The correct answer is Option D, application restart. Restarting the application is a common action taken to guarantee that updates or modifications are incorporated. When an application is restarted, it reloads its configuration and applies any changes made during the update or modification process. This ensures that the application operates with the latest changes and that any new features or fixes are fully implemented. Option A, downtime, is incorrect. Downtime refers to periods when a system or service is unavailable or not operational. While downtime may be necessary during certain updates or modifications, it is not a specific action taken to guarantee that changes to an individual application are incorporated. Downtime is typically undesirable and should be minimized whenever possible. Option B, service restart, is incorrect. Restarting a service can be part of the process of incorporating updates or modifications to an individual application, especially if the changes affect the service's functionality. However, a service restart is not always required for every update or modification, and it is not the only action necessary to guarantee that changes are incorporated. Option C, restricted activities, is incorrect. Restricting activities may be necessary in some cases to ensure that updates or modifications to an individual application are safely applied. However, it is not a specific action taken to guarantee that changes are incorporated. Restricted activities may involve temporarily limiting user access or certain functionalities during the update process to prevent data corruption or other issues. Next question. If a security team discovers that a group of servers within a company's internal server farm in a large data center was breached before the latest updates were applied, and breach attempts were not logged on any other servers, which threat actor is most likely to be involved? Option A, script kiddie. Option B, nation state. Option C, competitor. Option D, insider. The correct answer is Option D, insider. An insider threat refers to individuals within an organization who misuse their access or privileges to compromise security. Insiders may have knowledge of the internal server farm's configuration and vulnerabilities, making it easier for them to breach specific servers without triggering alerts or leaving logs on other systems. In the scenario described, where a group of servers within the internal server farm was breached, and breach attempts were not logged on any other servers, an insider is the most likely threat actor involved. Insiders may have legitimate access to the servers and can exploit their knowledge to bypass security controls. Option A, script kiddie, is incorrect. Script kiddies are individuals with limited technical skills who use readily available hacking tools and scripts to exploit vulnerabilities in systems. While script kiddies may attempt to breach servers, their attacks are often opportunistic and less targeted. In the scenario described, where a group of servers within a company's internal server farm was breached and breach attempts were not logged on any other servers, it is less likely that script kiddies would have the knowledge or access to specifically target internal servers without leaving traces on other systems. Option B, nation-state, is incorrect. Nation-states have significant resources and capabilities to conduct sophisticated cyber attacks, including targeting specific servers within a company's internal network. However, nation-state actors typically have strategic objectives and may target servers for espionage or sabotage purposes. In the scenario described, where only a group of servers within the internal server farm was breached and breach attempts were not logged on any other servers, a nation-state actor might leave traces or conduct more widespread reconnaissance activities. Option C, competitor, is incorrect. Competitors may attempt to breach a company's servers to gain a competitive advantage, such as accessing proprietary information or disrupting business operations. However, competitors are less likely to be involved in a breach where only a specific group of servers within the internal server farm was targeted and no breach attempts were logged on any other servers. Competitors may use more covert methods or broader attacks to achieve their goals. Next question. What is the primary function of a digital signature in cryptography? Option A, authenticate users. Option B, prevent unauthorized access. Option C, verify the integrity and authenticity of a message. Option D, encrypt data. The correct answer is Option C, verify the integrity and authenticity of a message. The primary function of a digital signature in cryptography is to verify the integrity and authenticity of a message. Digital signatures use cryptographic techniques to ensure that a message has not been altered or tampered with during transmission, and that it originated from a trusted source. By verifying the signature, recipients can be confident that the message has not been modified and was indeed sent by the claimed sender, providing assurance of its integrity and authenticity. Option A, authenticate users, is incorrect. While digital signatures can be used as part of user authentication mechanisms, their primary function in cryptography is not to authenticate users directly. Digital signatures are used to ensure the integrity and authenticity of data or messages rather than authenticating users. Option B, prevent unauthorized access, is incorrect. Digital signatures are not primarily designed to prevent unauthorized access to data or systems. Instead, they focus on ensuring the integrity and authenticity of messages to detect tampering or unauthorized modifications. While authentication mechanisms can help prevent unauthorized access, digital signatures serve a different purpose in cryptography. Option D, encrypt data, is incorrect. Digital signatures do not encrypt data. Instead, they provide a mechanism for verifying the integrity and authenticity of data. Encryption is a separate cryptographic process used to secure data by converting it into an unreadable format using cryptographic algorithms. While encryption can be used in conjunction with digital signatures for secure communication, they serve distinct purposes in cryptography. Next question. What type of control best illustrates the network firewall that Josh is reviewing and updating to accommodate changing organizational needs? Option A, detective. Option B, deterrent. Option C, preventative. Option D, corrective. The correct answer is Option C, preventative. Preventative controls are proactive measures designed to prevent security incidents from occurring in the first place. Network firewalls are a classic example of preventative controls, as they are deployed to block unauthorized access to the organization's network and resources, thereby preventing potential security breaches. In the context of Josh reviewing and updating the firewall to accommodate changing organizational needs, the firewall's primary role as a preventative control is best illustrated. Option A, detective, is incorrect. Detective controls are designed to identify or detect security incidents or breaches after they have occurred. These controls include activities such as monitoring, logging, and auditing. While network firewalls may have some detective capabilities through logging and reporting features, their primary function is to prevent unauthorized access and protect the network from external threats. Option B, deterrent, is incorrect. Deterrent controls are intended to discourage or deter potential attackers from targeting an organization's assets by increasing the perceived risk or cost of an attack. While the presence of a network firewall may act as a deterrent to some extent by signaling that the organization takes security seriously, the firewall itself primarily serves to prevent unauthorized access rather than deter attackers. Option D, corrective, is incorrect. Corrective controls are implemented to address security incidents or breaches after they have occurred and to mitigate their impact. While network firewalls may contribute to incident response efforts by blocking or filtering malicious traffic during an ongoing attack, their primary purpose is not corrective. Network firewalls are primarily preventative measures aimed at stopping security incidents before they happen. Thank you very much for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel if these questions add value to your preparation. We'll meet in the next video. Take care until then.